This is the Blood Red podcast from the Liverpool Echo.
In July 2019, Liverpool signed 16-year-old Harvey Elliott from Fulham, the youngest player ever to play in the Premier League. Fast forward 12 months and he has already picked up a Premier League winners medal. Welcome to the Blood Red channel with me, Kai Delaney. Today we're going to be taking a look at the rise of Harvey Elliott, and joining me today is a man who's played a role in the development of the player, Jack Johnson, a Fulham Academy coach. Jack, how are you?
Good, thank you, Kai. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for joining us today.
No problem.
So let's go right back to the start then. I mean, when do you first remember kind of hearing about Harvey Elliott?
I was first introduced to Harvey as an under-12 when I was coaching the under-12s at Fulham. Came in from QPR, so there was a little bit of talk about him. But yeah, first of all, under-12.
And was that through a coaching session of yours, or?
Yeah, so obviously at Fulham, I was under the under-12s coach at the time. He was in the under-12s age group. Yeah, had him for the season.
And what were your first impressions of him?
Good player, good feet, skillful, knew the game, was thought highly of by a lot of coaches, would play up in the year above a few times. Yeah, good player.
What was he like as a character? I imagine you managed him for a couple of years. What was he like kind of on the pitch and then in and around the dressing room and things?
Yeah, good character. I'm sure he's probably got a bit more to say when coaches aren't around, and he's a bubbly character. He's quite a quiet lad, not in a shy way, just in a real focused way. He knows what he's in the club for. He knows what he's come to training to do, and that's to improve and be the best he can every single training session, every single game. So, yeah, quiet, but down to being really, really focused.
There was a moment earlier this season. He played at home in the 5-5 draw with Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, and this is a 16-year-old lad at the time I was there at the game, and I remember there was a moment he was walking over to take a corner. I think we might have been 5-4 down, and he was kind of gesturing to the Kop, trying to get everyone up on their feet. And this is, a 16-year-old lad who anyone else would probably be intimidated by the atmosphere, but he seemed to embrace it.
Well, one thing I say, he's a Liverpool fan, so he loves Liverpool, always has done. So, yeah, nothing ever really seemed to faze Harvey. That's one thing I would say. Nothing fazed him. Yeah. Just wants to play football. Doesn't matter if it's in the back garden or if it is in front of 100,000. I don't think his heartbeat would change.
Mm. And was he always a winger when he played under you? I know at that age, people kind of you're still trying to find the position and stuff. Liverpool fans have seen him mainly on the right wing.
Yeah, I mean, I had him as an under-12 and then in the under-15s, and the younger times he probably drifted him inside a couple of times playing in different formations. But I think early on it was pretty certain he was better on the wing, and especially in the under-15 season I had him. He occupied that wing and obviously done the business, so there was no real reason to really change him that much.
And technically, did he stand out, above and beyond his peers?
At under 12, technically, yeah, like I said, he was a good player, and technically, yeah, probably was the best in the group. I think the turning point was probably when he developed physically, and he took real ownership on that himself, and he went away and really worked hard on his sprinting. And then when I come across him at, back in the under-15s 2 or 3 years later, he was a different beast. Obviously at under 12, I could see technically he was good, but just as a 15-year-old, just become really effective. Would score goals, assist goals regularly, and that came from him really, just with his own hard work, going away, working on his sprinting, working on his strength, and that's when you thought at 15, yeah, this boy's really got something.
And he obviously made his first team debut at 15 years old. before that, for a while, he was training with the first team. He's told stories about how he'd be at school, and then in his lunch hour, he'd go down to Fulham and train with the first team, and then get back to school. How did he kind of balance that? Did you see much of him kind of balancing the school football life as he was becoming a championship first team player at 15 years old?
No, I mean, I didn't see too much of that, but coaches that were working with him, again, just sort of with the same messages I gave you earlier. It wouldn't faze him. It wouldn't faze him. Just wants to play football. If that means he's got to go and do that with the likes of the Mitrovic, and then he's got to go and sit next to his school friends, I think it's just takes it in his stride.
And do you remember kind of getting the moment when, or the moments when he was on the verge of kind of moving up? He's with you. Was there like a chat with the 18s manager or the first team manager asking about him? We're going to take him in. How did that go?
I mean, obviously there's, people were well aware of what Harvey could do early on, and there's, plans and things set in place for him, from probably the moment he walked in. So chats were happening all the time between various members of staff. But when I had him at 12 and 15, he would play in the age group above, and it was quite a challenge trying to manage his minutes, if you like. I can count on numerous times where he's playing a game for us, and we've got to manage his minutes because he's got an important game for the 16s or something. We've had to bring him off early in the game, and just run past you, just subtly the first few times, and then maybe not so less subtly, stretch right in front of you, give you the odd hint. I'm ready if you need me. Harvey, you got an important game coming up in the 16 in a couple of days or whatever, and like I said, the boy, he just wants to play football. I think there was one game against a local London rival, let's say, and I think we bought him off. We were 2-0 up at the time. 20 minutes left, the goal goes in, and you can all of a sudden can see that his team might not win the game. He's off again, running past, just subtly, I'm ready if you need me, ready if you need me. And as much as I'd love to, then obviously we couldn't, because those plans and preparations were in place for bigger things. And some coaches that might annoy, but I know what I was like at that age, and fair play to him to be doing that. It was good of him.
Just kind of wanted to be involved with every team, every game.
Yeah, and wants to win. Not just doesn't want to just get out there. He wants to get out there, show what he can do, but he wants to win as well.
He doesn't seem like he's had any problem. Like I said, he's gone straight into the first team setup at Melwood. He's kind of bypassed the 18s, played a bit with the 23s, but for the majority of the season, he's been training at Melwood with the first team. Obviously, Klopp's kind of famed for his mentality monsters and the way he works inside of the game. So clearly had no issues fitting into the mental side of the game at the absolute elite level.
No, I don't think he'd have a problem with that. I think his mentality is elite, and that's that's why he is where he's at. Working in the academy, you see lots of good players that can got tricks, got skills, but you could tell from quite early on that he had that elite mentality. And as I said earlier, some people might say he was quiet, but it's from a place of being really focused. We'd have analysis sessions. He was always really clever. He'd sit where he would get the most out of that analysis session. It's like you've got that one or two boys in the group that if you sat next to them, they might distract you. He made sure he sat away from that. Had the banter and the jokes with them at the right time, but when there was information to be given in analysis sessions, etc., he'd be front of the class, taking it all on board. So elite mentality from the kid.
You mentioned earlier, obviously you were well aware he's a Liverpool fan. Everyone's seen the pictures of him at Anfield when he was a kid, and he went to the Champions League final as a fan a couple of years ago, just before he signed. Did he hide that? Was he quite open about it?
I think everyone knew he is a Liverpool fan. I mean, he wasn't walking around the training ground singing "You'll Never Walk Alone," if that's what you're asking. But yeah, we knew it was a Liverpool fan, because you get in, and there's Arsenal fans, there's Chelsea fans, and if someone has a bad result, there's a few jokes flying around, the training session after. So yeah, we knew, but he was, again, professional, if you like, about it, because obviously he was at a well-respected club.
His move to Liverpool came about last summer, but at what point were the club, kind of aware of interest? Were there other teams watching him? Were there kind of scouts looking at him long before that? Because obviously he's been in the headlines for a long time before he actually came to Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're all aware of the talk and the hearsay of clubs. If I'm honest with you, that's probably as much as I know. What you read on the websites and things like that. The powers above were, in charge of all that side. I didn't know anything about really any other interests, but I'm sure there was a lot of people wanting to get their hands on him as much as we wanted to keep him around the place as well.
He's quite a character off the pitch as well. There's a story that's he's openly admitted when he did sign for Liverpool, Real Madrid were one of the teams interested as well. I'm sure you're well aware. He had the tour of the Bernabeu, was offered the chance to meet Sergio Ramos, and said something along the lines of, "No, I don't like him after what he did to Salah."
Fair enough. Yeah, that again, we knew he had that in him, and he has got that jokiness, but it came out at the right times. As I said, when he's training, when he's playing, just nothing but professional, nothing but elite. But yeah, you could tell amongst his peers and in situations like that, he had more than enough character to pull off little jabs on Sergio Ramos like that. So fair play to him.
He signed his first professional contract with Liverpool in July of this summer. When he signed the contract, Jurgen Klopp said, "I love his attitude, I love his enthusiasm, and I love his bravery. He has the right amount of football confidence and cheekiness." Is that something that you saw a lot of?
Yeah, I think it's spot on. The man obviously knows his stuff, so I think he's hit the nail on the head with that one as well. Yeah, spot on.
So he always had that kind of cheeky side in his football, but off the pitch as well.
Yeah. Like I say, on the pitch, clever, professional. Definitely knew he had, he had character. But on the pitch, yeah, the boy. Watching young players play on the side when they get the ball, as a coach, you're thinking, yeah, he's probably got that option, or he can do that. He might pass inside, or he might get down the outside and cross. With Harvey, he'd get the ball, and I'd have that maybe in the back of my mind, and then he'd do something totally out of the blue, totally cheeky, and go, yeah, or he could have done that, I suppose. He just you couldn't predict what he was going to do. So yeah, I must feel so sorry for the defenders he's playing against, because they must have had no idea what he's going to do. I think Harvey 100% knew what he was going to do. But yeah, the things he'd do, like say he'd get the ball in the wing, and you think, all right, he can either come inside here, like get a shot off, or he might turn back, play inside, and then all of a sudden, before you finish your thoughts, he's rainbow flicked it over someone's head and bent it round with the outside of his foot on the half volley. And you just, yeah, there was so many moments with Harvey that you just go, oh, I haven't seen that before.
So it might be easy to say now, but was he a player that when you were coaching him, he was 15, did you ever think 2 years from now he'd have a Premier League winners medal?
I mean, that's, like I say, that's tough. I mean, we obviously, I knew he had ability, but to achieve that, yeah, there's not many people that have done it. So I think if anyone thought that he'd have a Premier League medal, if they did think that, I'd be phoning them up this week and asking them for the lottery numbers, because they're very good at predicting the future. So honestly, no, not at this age, but it doesn't surprise me with the ability that he had. He is where he is at the moment.
I've got to ask you about the haircut. Is it something he's always had? He said in an interview recently he's agreed to shave it off when he scores his first senior goal.
Is that right? No comment.
certainly a way to stand out from the rest of the youngsters, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's probably a haircut. I would probably need to stand out because I haven't got much skill, but someone with as much skill as that, it's about expressing yourself at the end of the day, and he does that the way he best sees. And if he's doing the business on the pitch, then he can have pink hair. It doesn't, I'm sure it wouldn't matter to the Liverpool fans when he scores a hat trick in front of the Kop and he's got a different hairstyle, let's say.
And just finally then, like we've touched on already, he's already picked up Premier League winners medal. He went to Qatar with the first team, picked up Club World Cup medal, 8 appearances for the first team. I mean, what more can you see from him getting out of his, he's probably got 15 years at least the highest level still.
Well, knowing the boy, as we said, in his elite mentality and his professionalism, I can see him probably having goals and targets of probably breaking into that first team as soon as he can and being a regular. Obviously, he's been in and around it, and I think he'll want to be a major role in more of Liverpool's successes as the years go on. Club-wise, Liverpool at the minute are at the pinnacle. There's a lot of people trying to do it the way Liverpool are doing it. So, there's not much obviously above club-wise that he can do. Obviously, Champions Leagues and things like that. But on a personal level, seeing what the young man could do at that age and the miracles and the moments he can produce on the ball, then why not? Those personal accolades could come his way if he carries on and knuckles down and carries on with his elite mentality. Why not?
Jack, thank you very much for giving us a little insight there into the early days of Harvey Elliott. And I believe it's Arsenal away for Fulham, first game of the season. Arsenal at home, sorry.
Oh, that'd be nice. Looking forward to the season starting. Obviously, back where we belong, if you like, coming back up this season. Scott Parker's done fantastic. Obviously, see the playoff final the other day, managed the game brilliantly, and hopefully this time we can get it right and stay there.
Fantastic. Well, thanks very much for joining us, Jack, and good luck for the season.
Thank you, Kai. See you soon, mate. Thank you.